Okay, so back to glass. I had found some things I printed out last year, and this is a lot of research I was in the middle of that I kind of just stopped doing. But I'm glad to find it. We can pick up where I left off. I think I had started circling all the marks, maker marks that I had recognized. This one, it says, excuse me, my phone is notifying me of something. Some common bottle marks and their manufacturers. We got Tennessee, Pennsylvania, a lot in Pennsylvania, Mississippi, California, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Illinois, Ohio, a lot in Ohio too. And I know I have a Duraglass one, at least one. Owens, Illinois glass is really popular. That's a merge of companies, so there's a lot of variations, honestly. And here's in the United States, more manufacturing marks. A in a circle. As you can see, it gets really complicated. Um, Here's a good point. I want to point this one out. This says AB connected. Now this bottle, we have AB connected. But upon looking it up in my research by image, I come up with Adolphus Busch, this date, mostly held Budweiser. So, obviously you're going to get conflicting answers when you search stuff. And I don't know, some of the glass I have, it's almost impossible to figure out where it came from. It doesn't have any maker's marks on it. I'll show you some examples of that. Well, here's one right now. I believe this was homemade. You can see something amber colored in there and then red. You can see the bubbles. It's an inkwell. However, I don't think it started out that way. I think this was repurposed. However, I'm not a glassmaker, so for me to even imagine it, it's hard. But I know something like this is actually much sought after. It's unique. There's never going to be anything like it. And I always knew that I was never going to try to sell this or anything. Like, I was always just going to keep it. Okay. You can see we have a lot of really specific glass companies that, I would bake didn't make it very long. A lot of them didn't, and it's because of companies like, hold on, Ball Bros, Ball and Script, Anchor, Hawking. The more popular ones kind of ate the other ones out pretty quick. A plain diamond glass. I have a lot of those, the plain diamonds, medicinal bottles. And it seemed like medicine was quite popular in the 20s as well. Let's see, anything else? Oh, we have a Campbell right here. In my first video, I had gone over E.R. Durkee. I did have one of these Hemingway, what are they called? Insulators. I don't have one anymore. He's always making sounds. Heinz. There's a small business killer right there for sure. And you find these things out in the research. I have a lot of Heinz bottles. There's Care. Oh, this is weird. JD26S. I recognize that. JD26S. I'm gonna get back to that. I'll let you know where I recognize that from. Can you stop, please? Love you too. Care. I have some of those. Oh, just an O on the bottom is Owen Bottle Company before they merged. Do you want to go out of this room? Okay. Yeah, my hat's off to people who are proficient in these bottles. This is a lot of work. Okay, we're going everywhere. You can see the dates these were produced. There was bottle companies on the West Coast pretty earlier than I thought. Okay, and these are foreign, which you will come across occasionally, especially at Goodwill. I'm not going to delve too deep in them because I really don't have the examples to show you. But a lot of these that we've gone over thus far, I do have examples to show you. What is this? Oh, and then this one's great because it shows you the actual logo. And it will look a little different on the bottle. It doesn't look exactly that clear cut unless it's newer made. So some on this list are much newer made, but if you have some bottles with these on the bottoms, and now you know. Anchor Hawking, that's a popular one. Especially us ladies should absolutely know this logo. Okay. I do feel like I've seen this one before maybe, but you know. The symbology stands over the years. Fenton. Okay. Thank you for quieting down. Okay, let's see. Hazel Atlas. Of course, they have quite a few. They've been around a long time. Sorry, I got being attacked by my paperwork. I have seen Imperial, referred to as the Iron Cross. I have seen that on the bottom. And if you're a collector and you see these logos in your maybe thrift store shopping, pick it up and save it. Put it up somewhere. It'll be worth some money someday. Okay, I am a Smith, and I'm never seen any of those. Let's see. Libby glass. Recognize that, of course. Okay, and then this is the logo for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I actually have some things from there I can show you guys. Moser glass seems to be very popular. I don't recognize it. Let me know if you do. Or if you recognize any of these logos or have anything to add, I would love to hear about it. Let's see. Westmoreland sounds vaguely familiar. Wheaton glass. Okay. And then I have, we're not going to go over this whole thing right now because, let's take those off. There's just a ton. The Heinz bottle company has been around for so freaking long. This is something some dear heart has compiled that I printed out because I found it to be so useful. I had started going through and highlighting what was relevant to me, I think, but that shows you how little I've gone into it thus far because I have tons of condiment bottles. This tells you what was in them. So in another video, I'll just make a whole video using this checklist right here and show you by number what the bottle looks like now. Maybe I will search some images of what the bottles looked like then. Seems like a good idea. It's a lot to look at, you know. And of course, you learn a lot about these people that owned these bottles, like what they preferred. I don't know if it's weird to think about that kind of stuff, but like whoever was expelling all these bottles underneath that porch, and then I ended up with them. Like, I know what their preferences were. Like, I know what kind of household products they like to use. And I just like, it's a different way of studying history that to me is somehow so much more enriching. Now, this is a business to many people. They make tons of money. You can acquire these bottles fairly easily. People don't generally know how much they're worth. This is a very loosely priced list right here. So I have tons of these, and it just seems I like to give them as gifts to like the women in my family and stuff. The small medicine bottles, they tend to be kind of run of the mill, but you can get your little ribbed poison bottles, but that's actually on this list at the bottom. Narcotic bottles, they're usually ribbed. They usually have some kind of indicator built into the model that will tell you that this contains something extra special or extra dangerous. That's a narcotic bottle. And they don't always have words on them. Less than 6 inches tall. See, they can run pretty high. You got perfume bottles. And then you have to do the research into just like the general bottle shapes, because you're going to have off-brand bottles that don't have logos. You can't really look up who the exact maker was. So you just have to know the shape of the bottle and know what probably was inside of it. Milk bottles, I don't have any of those. This must have been made before like the recession that we're in, because I think a lot of these are worth a lot more. Now, a lot of the run-of-the-mill, easy to find ones that I have aren't really worth. They're really worth like this much, $3 to $20 a bottle. Small colored glass bottle, 40 to 100. Now, if you're going off this and then you get on eBay to sell bottles, you're going to be sorely disappointed. People are not willing to pay this much unless you have quite a specialty bottle. Tablet bottle. Okay, that is 15 to 45. Now, Coca-Cola bottle, 300. I have one right here. This was made between the 30s and 50s. It's definitely not worth $300. I'm just telling you. You can clean these bottles better, but I don't worry about all that. You're just as likely to damage them in the process. Ink bottles. $8 to $20. That seems quite accurate. Here's an ink bottle. I have written down some information about these bottles I have out here. So this one, upon looking it up, let's see. Well, let's finish that. We'll come back to that. Flask or liquor bottle. I have a ton of them too. I have enough that I get confused because at some point there's a lot of soda glass bottles that are introduced. And, you know, some of them have little shape. So, like, wine bottles are easy to identify. Soda bottles versus beer bottles, especially like a whole rash of them that were made on the West Coast, it's really hard to tell the difference. $20 to $200. So maybe, you know, the video I make with my flask or liquor bottles is going to be kind of fun, huh? All right, so I'll put that up for now. And I'll just start with this. So we got the aspirin Bayer. This is the one I looked up. You see the codes on the bottom. The best I could get out of it was that it was from the 1930s to the 40s. So you look at the top, you can see how many screw marks there are. Now this is the same product, okay? At the most, there's still one less screw mark. Its shape is a little different. And on the bottom, the code is different. There's different bottle companies, or the logo has changed that much in 10 years. It happens. Because this is from the 1920 to 29. On this, you got the bottle maker in the middle. On the left is the factory it was made in. On the right is the year. So we're probably looking at 1927 right there. And I will say words like probably because I'm telling you, a bottle expert could come tear my video up at any moment, and I welcome it. Go ahead and teach me, because this is only to the best of my research abilities, okay? Right here we have Phenolax wafers, Upjohn, with the number 30 at the top. Okay, now you look at the bottom. This is old. You can see the top. There's no screw top. See this? That is a diamond with an eye in the middle. Upon looking that up, the mold cavity. So I think that might tell you in general what kind of product it was, okay? This is from 1915. And it's kind of like swirly. I don't know if you could see it. It's very beautiful, okay? Okay, now this bottle, it says Raux, or I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, ROUX. You would almost think it's a poison bottle, but it's too big and it's too plain. It doesn't have any indicator or warning. And on the bottom, you have an eye and a dot. That's an indicator of age. I was able to find out what it was without having to look specifically at the code. It carries Cajun seasoning. It's from the 1930s. the top would support that. You know, you get used to the style. Okay. Now I have kind of a cool mystery one. I could find out a general date. Um, Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right, but Nudatone or Nudatone. I'm I'm not sure. Okay, this is some kind of product from about 1950s to 1929s, and it's also a diamond with an eye in it. I copied what it looked like right there, and a 7 at the top that tells you what's in it. Maybe I'll be able to find out more about it. I so far could not find out. It's pretty cool though. Okay. Okay, so this inkwell, this is Sanford's ink. We got a 39 and a 3N. Typically with that kind of information, with this kind of product, you can see the bubble in it. This glass feels different too. But anyways, you can get a general idea of it just by looking it up with those numbers on the bottom. 1920s. I used this jelly jar for something, so I can't show you that. Let's see. This one's cool. Dr. Thompson's eye water. Okay. This takes a cork top. It's old. I'm going to try to hold this one up. See if you can see. Now, these might change color more now that they're not underground anymore. And, like, I can kind of start seeing colors come into them. They're either turning light blue or purple, some of them. Anyways, this held opium, alcohol, and zinc sulfate from the 1910s. New London, Connie, or it meant Connecticut. Dr. Thompson's eye water. I got a couple other products that had, I mean, like this. These, the Phenolax wafers, I haven't specifically looked up what was in them yet, but I guarantee you it was something that is now legal. That's a very common thing. Okay, this is a really cool little bottle right here. And you can see on the bottom, well, I mean, hopefully, it says A. Schilling and Company, 2-ounce net. And this is either from 1880 or this is dated in the 1880s to 90s. And it's worth about $50. Maybe a little less because it is chipped. This is turning purple. You could maybe see it. Very cool. I did not find out what was in it, but I would speculate that it was an extract. Okay, and okay, I already showed you the Coca-Cola bottle. That's dated from the 30s to 50s. Now this olive green wine bottle has this Pontil. Oh no, that's not what this is. Hold on, let me grab that real quick. That one's almost black. That's why it looks that color. The dark olive green they're pretty desired. It has some kind of red, and that was probably from whatever they sealed it around with. But this is the Pontil on the bottom. Let's see, did I date this one? I'm not comfortable dating this. However, this is a green wine bottle. It might even be from outside of the country, but I'm not sure. And I dated that to the 1880s to 1910. I don't remember how I dated that though. And then this, I haven't actually searched too much. I know it's old. Look at the top. Let's see. You could see the mold line going all the way to the top. So it's not that old. This is probably from the 20s. Mission Dry Sparkling. It's black. It's completely black. And that's the only bottle I have that's black. I showed you that beer bottle. This is definitely a beer bottle. It definitely is. But what company? I got two different answers for, so I don't know. This is an old jelly jar. And on the bottom, it says that it was patented February 10th, 1903. So JDS, I do have a bottle by that maker, but it doesn't have a 26 on the bottom. It has a 1. And it's also a Lea & Perrins Worcestershire sauce.